Me off every time we start recording, you son of a gun. Welcome back to episode 45 of the Symposium by Drunk on Social. And we are live on YouTube and we are live wherever you're listening. Kind of, not really, but close enough. And today we have a treat for you because usually we do these, as you know, and we talk about the latest news and stuff. But every once in a while, somebody falls into our lap or in our Rolodex or gets referred to us like our guest today, our good friend Austin Armstrong, who many of you know, Social T Pro. You should be following him on TikTok, and you're going to actually hear from him at our upcoming Social Genius event. But he referred this person today. Her name is Megan Gersch. She comes from LA. She specializes in branding and web design, and she has awesome hair, and she lives by Tristan. And she kicks ass on TikTok, and she's got a lot to share. So welcome to the show, Megan.
Thank you so mumuch. I'm so excited to be here.
Well,
welcome.
First of all, we have to know, your hair's blue. I see purple a lot. What's the story behind the hair? If you're not watching this, you need to go see this. Go check it out on YouTube, but tell us about the hair.
Thanks. So when I left my 9-to-5, I was like, okay, I'm starting my new business. I need to make a change here. So dyeing my hair purple is something that I've always wanted to do. Recently, I've shifted over to blue just because, again, I just needed another change, but I think I'm going to be going back to purple soon. So, it's one of those things that kind of changes with the wind.
See that as I'm scrolling your TikTok.
It kind of looks like bluish. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty blue, whatever it is.
Thank you.
Good job on the color.
Thank you.
Look, Jeff could talk about hair the whole episode, but I want to kind of steer it somewhere else. Okay.
Perfect.
How'd you get started on TikTok?
So I had just taken my business full-time in 2018. About a year, I tried a whole bunch of different stuff, cold emailing, trying to get new clients and, get my stuff in front of new people, right? When you're first starting, you're just doing anything and everything, trying to, just get some seeds in the ground so that you get your name out there. And then about a year later, I found TikTok and I watched on the platform for a long time before I started creating. I originally started creating I thought I was going to start promoting my artwork on there. I do art as like a hobby. And so I started posting my art. That wasn't really catching. So I was like, well, one day I was like, why don't I post some like branding or marketing tips? And that is like the thing that like really took off for me, which is funny because it's like, I don't know why as a business owner, I was like, oh, I should put my business tips on there or whatever. But it took me trying a whole bunch of different things first and then kind of pivoting into what ultimately is my bread and butter of my business. So I started making all of these business tips and folks were really starting to click with it. And, the rest is history. It's just, I love the platform so much.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's digress for just a half a second and tell us what it is that you do. And because that would probably help the context of this conversation. And then we'll get into kind of more strategy and how you help professionals and how you can help our listeners.
Yeah, definitely. So I have three main pillars of my business. I do web design, marketing, and then also branding. And so those three pillars kind of marry together kind of anyway, because there is strategy that kind of weaves in between them. But yeah, that's kind of the meat of what I do. I help business owners boost their sales through those three pillars.
Did you start with that on social media? You're like, hey, this is what I do, check out what I'm doing? Or did you go a different avenue and something else hit and then you brought that in? How was that your progression and growth on social?
I mean, here's the thing. When I started my business, I was definitely doing a lot of testing to figure out like where I would fit into the market. So like, I was doing a little bit of graphic design, like that, doing some website work and like figuring out what clients actually wanted and needed. I mean, as far as like what I was doing on social was giving like a lot of tips and tricks and tutorials, those kinds of things. And along the way, like I just started integrating a bit more of my personality into it. And I think that's when it really started to click, is like, anybody can give tips and tutorials all day long, but the second that you start like really putting yourself into that content, I think is when it really starts to click for people.
Yeah, it's very true. I'm looking at your TikTok right now. I see a theme, right? I love the theme, by the way.
On the cover photo?
I see the cover photo. I see also all of the videos that I'm looking at, and they all have the white lettering and the purplish background, right? So it tells me what every video is about. What right now are you mostly gravitating to when creating content? Is it one specific thing, or do you have niches?
I mean, I kind of consider like I was talking about my three main pillars to be kind of like, that is like my niche, right? As far as like the different types of content, I like to kind of alternate between, I do some trending kind of style videos. I do some kind of informational, educational type videos. And I also like to sprinkle in a little bit of inspiration as well, just because I do a lot of marketing coaching for clients. And so having that little inspirational piece does like help to like motivate people.
Who is your target? Who is your target, or who are the majority? Like, what type of clients gravitate towards you? From what industries, what businesses?
Yeah, definitely. So the majority of my clients are very, very creative. They're bold business owners, so they are not afraid to take risks. They're not afraid to stand out in their market, but really show their personality. They're not looking for any kind of like cookie cutter solution. They are just like very strong personalities. So they're artists, creatives, musicians, like record labels, like any kind of business that is really trying to make a splash in their market. Recently in the pandemic, I have been working with a fair amount of women. So that is kind of another piece of that as well.
I love that. You're muted, Tristan.
Damn it. Where's your cup that says you're muted, Tristan? Okay. I have personal questions now for our business. Now I'm thinking something else, because I'm looking at your site right now for all the services and all the people, and you've helped in great reviews, by the way. What do you use to build the sites out? Are you using like a certain company, like a design company? Are you designing? Are you explain to me the whole process, because I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm actually everything right now. So it's just, when you are working with me, it's completely, you're getting my designs, my creation of the websites, all of the creative direction, everything. I'm actually in a turning kind of point in my business now where I'm looking to change some of that. So like, I'm looking to step more into like a creative director type role where I have a hand in all of the design part of it, and perhaps looking to outsource some of the actual implementation of the site, so that way we can accommodate more clients in that way.
All right. And when it says the starting investments at 5,000, what happens after that? Like, if we want to keep you to work on the site, tell us what happens there.
Yeah, definitely. So there's two kind of components for that, right? So I have like a base package for like building and all of the creative that goes into like creating the actual site, and then as far as like maintaining the site, that's something where if we go through the website build process, if we have liked working together, then that is like a next step that is available that we can take. And that it usually looks like a monthly kind of retainer kind of situation.
All right. Now, based on looks, who would you rather work with, Jeff or myself?
Oh my God. I don't know that I can answer that.
I was just messing with you. I just had to throw something out there that was funny as fuck. So, okay. Question about
TikTok. Want an answer, damn it.
All right. TikTok. I love, by the way, we did research. I watched your videos and I love them. Great job on engaging. I could see why you're growing.
Thank you.
What tip can you give to our audience here, mostly business owners, right? What tip can you give as far as consistently showing up? Because the challenge they find is creating the content. So what can you talk about that? Say, hey, show up, but here's the content that you should be posting daily, every other day. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I think a big component of that is like researching within your niche, figuring out like, taking a look at like what other people are doing, what is working on the platform, and also figuring out how to structure your content. That's like a really, really big one. The whole platform's goal, like the platform's goal is to keep you on the platform for as long as possible, right? They're looking for watch time, they're looking for engagement from the audience. And so when you figure out how to structure your video so that you keep people watching to the end, or you generate some kind of reaction from them, that is really going to be the key to success on the platform. I would also say like another component to that is, like I kind of said earlier, like showing your personality, not, especially on TikTok, where like the platform is much more relaxed than other platforms. There's a whole culture that's different than Instagram or Facebook. Really getting to know that culture a bit and figuring out like how you are going to fit into, or like what's your personality is going to be on the platform is going to be super important in standing out amongst all of the other videos that are going on there.
Sorry, my camera decided not to show my face anymore.
Yeah,
So
well,
I guess Jeff wins the competition. Damn it.
Karma.
Oh, shit. Okay. Back to you, Jeff.
So we talk to a lot of our audience is real estate professionals of some sort. So when you're talking about like that strategy, when you're talking about how you come up with those pillars of content and that sort of thing, and you even mentioned it yourself, you tested until you found something that worked. What is your advice? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that creative piece. They go to TikTok and they're really basically, they're intimidated because they'll see people that are eloquent. They'll still see people that can dance. They'll see people that are creative, and they feel like, I can't do that. So what would be the advice that you would give to somebody? Because our industry, unlike most, is on the innovative side. Like we're out ahead. And so people are looking for ways to differentiate, because there's a 10 trillion real estate agents in our country. And so there's a lot of competition. So what would be the advice you would give to somebody to find that niche, and how many pillars of content would you actually recommend for a platform like TikTok?
Yeah, for sure. So as far as like number of pillars, I always recommend 3 to 5. And one of those pillars should be kind of like your personal content. So like, getting to know you as the actual creator, showing a bit behind the scenes. What are you doing on the weekends? Like something that's not so on the nose of like, what is your business doing? Or like, give me some information. And then as far as like tips for like how to stand out on the platform, I would look for something that is very visually kind of driven, right? So TikTok is a very like, visual platform when it comes to, it's vertical video. So like you have to find a way in your background, in the way that you're speaking, delivering the information, you have to find a way to stand out visually. For me, that is right here. Like I'm the marketing girl on TikTok with the blue hair, right? So every time, that's like the visual indicator to someone when I pop in their feed, it's like, oh, it's just that recognizable factor. I'm not saying you have to dye your hair blue or purple or whatever, but you need some kind of visual indicator that registers with people, that triggers that memory of like, oh yeah, this is that person that gave me that really awesome tip that one time. So like figuring out what that is, what that is for your brand. And if you can integrate, a hint of your personality into it, I think that's even better.
Tristan, we're fucked. That's what she just said.
I mean, you guys have some pretty good backgrounds going on right now. So I commend you on those.
Thank you.
I see the Star Wars in the background,
We'll see how good that goes.
Well, and it's funny. So much. It's funny you mentioned backgrounds, because we all have different, that's another strategy. And like, I don't know that Tristan, you probably care as much about your background. Whereas I, like in my office, I have like 5 or 6 different backdrops. I have a green screen, I have sports memorabilia, I have hats. And so I intentionally, like I'm about ready to batch a bunch of videos, and I'll shoot a couple with this background, and then I'll move over here, and then I'll move over there, and then I'll move over here, just to kind of keep it different and changing. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this question, but do you believe that changing your backdrop is important, or do you think continuity is more important, or do you think it matters?
I think changing it up can be helpful, especially even like within the same video can help to keep that viewer interest. I also think that it can help with that first shot of the video to build that recognition, right? So if you were to show the first shot of your video with all of the social media icons in the background of your video, like that might be a recognizable thing if that's the first shot of of every single video, right? So
I like that. I like that.
I agree. I think the consistency in showing up the way you show up is extremely important. So I like that. So looking at where you think TikTok is going, what should we be doing more of? Just in general when it comes to TikTok.
So it depends what kind of business you have. If you have a product-based business, they have a Shopify integration that's rolling out, right? So that is going to be super, super helpful for those that are selling physical products. If you're selling services, I think that the way to go is to really focus on how you can integrate storytelling. I think that the platform is moving more and more that direction. And even like, I know that lots of folks have been focusing on these like less than 15-second video type formats, but I've been seeing a lot of viral videos that have been popping off at like the 30-second mark or so. So it's like a longer-ish format of the short form. So not a super long video, but like, 30 seconds or so seems to be an interesting place to be kind of experimenting with right now.
Do you think that's going to continue to trend up? Because the platforms are trending longer. TikTok included 3 minutes. So do you think that's kind of where it's going? Because for a time we were like, figure out how to get your message out in 15 seconds. And then it was like, okay, now 30, okay, now 60. And and then on the other side of the coin, we're like, when you go live, you just vomit and you take a 1.5 minute, what could have been a 1.5 minute video, and you talk for 5 minutes because you're blabbering. And so what is your thoughts on the timing and how long a video should be?
Truthfully, I don't know. I don't know personally. I don't personally have that many contacts that use that 3-minute feature. I know that folks, when they have talked about that 3-minute feature in my feed, at least, like they are just saying like, no one's going to watch a 3-minute video on TikTok. Like if I want a tutorial, I'm going to YouTube. And so I wonder, specifically to TikTok, like if that is a thing, I don't know. I think it's more about like finding that sweet spot of like between 15 seconds and a minute that works for your brand, especially on TikTok.
Yeah.
What a good point. If you do want to learn more, you typically go into YouTube searching for that whole process itemized. So I have a question, because Jeff and I are noticing that right now there seems to be all of the outlets, the social media outlets, they all want to capitalize on the short video. And it feels like they're all almost functioning in the same way. Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, right? Obviously TikTok, right? What do you see being I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. What do you see as being the differentiating factor between the outlets like a YouTube, because you just mentioned longer form, and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok? Why would somebody continue to go to Instagram versus TikTok if you find the exact same stuff on both?
This is such an easy question for me. The answer is that the community is unlike any other platform on TikTok. I've been on social media for probably 16 or 17 years at this point, and I've never seen any other community quite like TikTok. The platform has literally built-in features that encourage you to interact with other people, right? And of course, Instagram is kind of biting those features right now with the remix feature. All of those kinds of things are kind of now getting integrated. But you'll notice that when you post on TikTok, the algorithm almost seems a bit smarter about who it shows it to. And so right now, if I'll post the exact same thing on TikTok versus Reels, and what I'll notice is I'm hitting my target audience on TikTok, but when I post that exact same video to Reels, it's going to a way younger audience. I don't think that my audience has adapted Reels yet on Instagram. So I don't know if that algorithm is still learning. I don't know if maybe it's like an adoption type thing where like I'm just seeing a much younger, like high school type aged audience reacting to my videos, commenting on my videos, all of these kinds of things. So I would say the community is kind of the differentiating factor.
What a good point. That's a really good point. And I do feel like Jeff Both and I feel that the TikTok algorithm is just better. And yeah. I mean, I can't know, obviously we don't know why, but damn, it's just good.
Yeah. I saw like a few months ago, it's up for sale also. I don't know if anything has happened with that. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
TikTok?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, you're going back to the time, how when it was supposed to sell and it was going to be, Walmart coupled with Oracle, which ended up never happening. And then I thought it happened and it just kind of drifted into the sunset. It's like once Trump moved past it, everybody just forgot. Nobody cared anymore. And all of a sudden it's not really talked about anymore. Like, oh, China has all my data. I'm so screwed. Don't be on TikTok. And now nobody really seems to care. And we've been saying that since day one, like, get over it. Like, stop. I mean, if you trust Google, Zuckerberg, I mean, who knows who's back there? It has everything they need to know everything about you. You don't have anything to worry about with TikTok, but you know how people are, conspiracy theorists left and right, especially in this day and age.
Yeah. I mean, if you literally carry around, a tracking device in your pocket, like I don't know. I don't worry much about those kinds of things.
That's so funny. Yeah. If you're carrying this and you're worried something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Just move to the country where there's no service, move to the woods. It's your best bet. I had another question as it pertains, as we were talking about you were talking about Reels and we were talking about how the algorithm, that sort of thing. And what I find interesting is I agree. I think TikTok's algorithm is much more advanced. I'm finding that Reels, it's really interesting because when they pop, it pops really hard and really fast and dies off like it falls off a cliff. Like, and with TikTok, it can just trickle along and then bam, and then it slows down and then bam again. And then, or it could be 2 weeks later. It's so fascinating with TikTok. Whereas Reels, it's almost like they say, turn it up, turn it off. It's all you get, and I've had one reel go viral. By viral, I mean hundreds of thousands of views. And I've had thousands many times, but I rarely get hundreds of thousands, only one time that I think I can remember. And it's just fascinating how it's just chops that thing right off. And I don't know if you experienced that with Reels at all.
Yeah, I would say the same is kind of true for just like not even going viral, just like everyday posting, like, with Reels, if you're just posting the Reels feed, like you will see that initial surge and then it'll just be like nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really crazy. That's also why I like sharing my Reels to my stories, because, it just gives it, I know I'm going to have a certain amount of views on my stories, almost to a science every single day. Sometimes it's a little bit more, a little bit less, but right inside that range every day. And so I just feel like, I think some people live on the feed. Some people live in Reels, some people live in stories. And so it's like, we preach, like, put your stuff out there and everywhere that it belongs. If it belongs on LinkedIn too, put it there, right? Just put it everywhere. There's no harm in it. Maybe you want to shoot it organically on your phone and post it, natively to each app, which we recommend. I like to test posting TikToks to Instagram every once in a while, just to see. And sometimes it's completely suppressed and sometimes not at all. And it's like, what the hell? Like, is it really true that they're suppressing or is it not true? I don't know. But it's a constant conversation that we're having all the time.
Yeah, I think one thing that I've noticed lately, especially when you're reposting TikToks to Reels, is that they've gotten a lot stricter lately if you mention the word TikTok in the video, or if you speak it, or if you put it in the caption, or if you use any of the TikTok related hashtags. So like, I posted a few videos around like TikTok tips or like strategies. And those have literally just stated like 0 views. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Just like 0 across the board.
That's pretty nuts. We've actually noticed the same thing, which is why we have to post, like Jeff said, to shoot with your phone, then upload it directly into it. So very, very good point.
I still believe and Megan, I still argue that Instagram is really, for lack of a better term, dumb by suppressing, because the reality is, if I'm taking a TikTok and I'm posting it to Instagram, I'm doing what you want me to do. I'm keeping the user on your platform because I'm posting that video, even though it's got the TikTok watermark on it. I'm telling your Instagram user, you can see my TikToks on Instagram. You don't have to go to my TikTok. So wouldn't they want that? Why would they suppress that? All you're doing is pissing off your user, me, and saying, you know what, screw you. I'll go over to TikTok then and spend more time there and create more content there. I find it hard to believe that they're not smarter than that. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's not going to get any better with time either. I mean, I personally download my TikToks with watermark free. And I still am seeing some of that like weirdness coming through. So even if I'm not posting with the watermark, it's still kind of weird at times, you know,
it's like it knows where it came from.
Yeah. It's probably somewhere embedded in the metadata or something.
Ooh, she said meta. Do you have an Oculus?
I do. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's so good.
That's our next venture. So we're going to start hosting podcasts, in that world. And we're going to start hosting masterminds in that world. And, I do believe that is something that everyone, and we're going to keep talking about this on Drunk on Social, but you should really start paying attention. You should buy one. They're only $300 and just get familiar with it and start being ready, because soon we're going to have exclusive invitations for masterminding, and you can only join us if you have access to the virtual world. And whether you love it or hate it, it's just like computers were to our grandfathers and cell phones were to the next generation. The internet was to the generation after that TikTok is today. It's not going away. It's only going to continue to evolve. So you better freaking embrace it. Megan, what would you say would be a parting advice for anybody who says, man, I like what she says, and I think I want to work with her? What is the best piece of advice that you can give any entrepreneur who is selling not a product, but a brand that's selling themselves?
It's honestly to get really honest with yourself about like what you want to offer and how it's going to be different from other providers. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, let's say you want something, let's say you're offering graphic design or something like that. There's a million graphic designers out there, but why should I pick you over other designers, right? So figuring out how you're going to differentiate yourself in the market is going to be super key. And, really tapping into like what you want to stand for as a brand, I think is super important, because all of those types of things are going to kind of shine through in your content.
That's a great one. What you want to stand for as a brand. I love that. That'll dictate your content.
Yeah.
So good. I like that a lot.
Megan, how can our audience find you?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Megan Gersch at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, although not really, Pinterest as well. So and if you want to reach out, you can head over to megangersch.com. It's MEGANGERSCH.
Nice.
I love it. Thanks for being here. Let's definitely stay in touch. Let's meet in a virtual world sometime and see if your virtual self has colored hair as well. I'm sure.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What color do you think it should be?
I'm going to have hair in a virtual world because I
nice.
Can.
I'm putting a man bun on in the virtual world.
Ooh, good idea.
We love that.
I'm going to have a mullet.
This is hilarious.